Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Analyst here, and I hope all of you guys are having a good morning, evening, wherever you guys are from. And welcome to the Crypto Analyst live stream, where of course we do technical analysis over the altcoins, over Bitcoin. We really go over everything that's happening in the market. So let me go ahead and make sure everything's up over here and turned on properly. And I think we're good to go. So yeah, Bitcoin's been doing some, and Ethereum have been doing some unique movements today. That's for sure. And I actually need to go ahead and turn back on my EMAs so we can highlight this, because there definitely is a good amount of information. I need to move this closer. So there definitely is a good amount of information that we have to cover over here. Let me go ahead and pull up chat so I can do that. Yeah, there we go. Now I can read chat. So yeah, I mean, this has definitely been unique, but this was nothing that was not expected, at least for me. If you guys saw this morning's video, I put it out this morning, which is something I'm going to start doing more. I think I'm going to start putting out more morning videos and maybe evening live streams, something along the lines of that. But it was really cool because I was able to get the video out before it actually dumped. And one of the things that I said in the video is that I was looking for it to touch the 200 EMA or the 618, which at the current time were in the exact same place. And so shortly after the video came out, I think it was about 4 hours after the video came out, we had this perfect dump happen on both Ethereum and on Bitcoin, and this just so happened to place us right down to the 618 and the 200 EMA moving average, and I said 200 EMA, and the 200 exponential moving average. Now, this worked out absolutely beautiful, respecting the TA, perfect measured move right down to support, and it wicked right back up. We can see the same thing on Bitcoin. And this, again, itself, maybe you were able to catch it. I did highlight it in this morning's video, so I'm sure, some of you caught it. For those of you guys, congratulations. I know this is something that I posted in Patreon as soon as I saw this earlier. Especially, I think it was way more clear on Bitcoin. Well, I mean, it was really clear on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. But looking at this, let me just highlight this one more time. Looking at this, when I was looking over in this range, what I was seeing is, okay, well, yes, we do possibly have this ascending triangle over here, but you also have a potential bear flag being this pennant, and I didn't really see this until the third touch when I drew this up, and I said, and I went because, on Patreon, this is really how this all started. I was doing an update on Patreon, and then I was looking at the Ethereum update that I was giving about the trade that I put in there, and I noticed that this could possibly be a bear flag, and I said, hey, make sure you guys raise your stop losses in profits. That's what I'm doing. All right, I can't tell them to do that because legal. But I said, hey, I'm raising my stop loss for Ethereum right over here because I'm making sure that it's in the profit zone. There's a good chance that this could turn into a bear flag, and that's why I'm raising my stop loss. If it shows some nice volume or some significant action, can I just pull this up instead of explaining everything? But I basically said that I was gonna possibly go short on Ethereum. Let me just pull it up. You guys get to see it for yourself. Dadgummit. I can't show this without showing. I can't show this without showing things that I don't want to show, such as financial information. So I'll tell you what, we're going to take a good old screenshot of this. There we go. Let's slap this up here. All right. Can we not just like... Okay, I guess the answer is no. Well, I guess this might be as good as it gets. Can we zoom in on this at all? Edit, paint, file, zoom. Alright, I guess not. Well, hopefully you guys can read this a little bit. It's really not that small. Basically, this is the post that I made this morning explaining why. And I think it's important to notice, a lot of you guys probably don't care. A lot of you guys are probably looking at this and going, why does this matter? It's important to know why this stuff happens. So not only that you learn it for next time, but also to know where we go from here. Because if we're getting rejected by this bear flag or the bottom of the support, you need to know that. And I was talking to someone about, I think I was talking to Otter about this in Discord. about the same concept. And a lot of people go, oh, well, that's the past, so we don't need to know it anymore, when it's really the opposite. So let me go ahead and show you guys my mindset of what went through my head when I realized this morning. So this is the Patreon post that I wrote up. Basically, I said, Ethereum could be forming a bear flag on the 4-hour. I made a post about the ascending triangle. However, it could be contradicted by this bear flag. I'm raising my stop loss so that it will close in profit if this bear flag plays out, and I might even short the breakout or the breakdown if it seems strong enough. If there is bearish divergence, I will post here, and if I do enter a short, I'll post here as well. Right now, it's looking like BTC and Ethereum could be getting triple bearish divergence, as I mentioned today on my YouTube video. Now, that was the Patreon post because what I saw over here was the potential of this bear flag when I was going through my updates in the morning. And this really caught me, and so I said, okay, well, let's go ahead and look at this. And I started seeing the potential of triple bearish divergence forming on my MACD, and my RSI was winding up almost in like a bear flag-esque way kind of deal on my RSI. Again, I still think I explained very well if you guys watched this morning's video, I explained very well why this is likely to break down into this oversold territory. And so with all of these things adding up, I did say that if this were to break down, which it looked like it was, that we were most likely to retrace to the 618 and the 200 EMA. Now, why did I choose this range? Okay, so again, this is more about learning technical analysis here, and then we'll get into predicting it. Learning it here, why am I predicting the 618 and the 200 EMA? Well, one, they were on top of each other. If you're looking over here this morning, the 200 EMA was lined up perfectly with the 618 area. And when that happens, it's not a coincidence. You can call it whatever you want, but when this happens, it's significant. You have your golden fib retracement being the 618, the most used fib in all of cryptocurrency, lining up perfectly with your substantial 200 EMA, which is, one of the most notable, strongest moving averages that you have, in crypto. And so when you have like two of the strongest elements lining up, it's making me think twice over here going, okay, well, there's these things are probably going to be used. I don't think it's coincidence that your 618 is perfectly lining up with your 200 EMA on your 4-hour, and you'll all of a sudden have a bear flag over here. So immediately my thoughts were, okay, well, if this does break down, this is my target, because that is an extremely suitable area to stop a drop, but also for a stop to come down to and still be healthy. Now, of course, this played out very beautifully. Your 618 and your 200 EMA held on both BTC and on Ethereum, but I think what next is that really no one expected for this thing to fully retrace all the way back up. I was kind of joking that when this happened, saying that this was going to end a green candle, and it almost did. But with this happening, I think, one, this shows a great amount of pressure from the bulls, saying that if you come down into our zone over here, we are going to have loads of buying pressure. And we saw that when this happened. This thing got absolutely bought back up so fast. And two, again, we talked about this area being a substantial level of support, right? And I think this wicked down right to, almost. So it wicked down right to previous highs. So again, this whole area over here is going, oops, I misdrolled that. So this whole area in here is going to be support, and on top of that, you still have all of this in here. So this whole range being like, what is this? 125 on Ethereum to 117, 118 on Ethereum. This whole range is going to be solid support. So, and on top of that, you have your 786, your 618. Now you're above your 50% retracement again, which was getting used previously. And then for Bitcoin, it's a lot of the same case. For Bitcoin, this thing worked down. Wow, this worked really good. So over here, you can see perfectly that this wicked down to the previous high. So previous high over here, what was resistance is now support over here. Worked out absolutely beautiful. This is just textbook TA over in this region, and you can see the exact same situation happening over in here with this previous candle top being now, which was support now, which was resistance, now support over here. So you're seeing this pattern happen. This happens a lot in technical analysis, and this is how people kind of layer where they want to buy, where they want to short, where they want to enter and exit at, stuff like that. So when I'm looking at these regions, again, more often than not, this is not just a coincidence. There's not just some random reason why this happened. When you're looking at technical analysis and analyzing it, this is one of the things I teach in my course. This is actually just one of the things I actually just did an episode on in my TA course that I'm making, is exactly what happened here, right? The fibs, the EMA, the previous candle body tops being used now as support because they were resistance. Now that they're broken, they're now support. Again, all of these things really just lining up so well. I would say that this has all been very, very textbook TA. Ever since, starting at the breakdown, everything through here has just been absolute textbook TA, and I love it. But the one thing that has not been, I guess, textbook is that it's just this wick. This wick's a little crazy, right? Of course, I did think it was going to come down here, but I never thought that this would just turn out like that. You just have like no body and all wick. It's crazy. But moving over, let's talk about a little bit of macro of cryptocurrency. So over here, we are approaching, again, this overbearing resistance on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Randy, what's up? Great to have you. Crypto Kiwi, welcome. Sean Smith, great to have you in here. Sean Smith, are you soy sauce in Discord? I think you remember me saying something like that. But yeah, so over here, we do have our overbearing resistance. We're trying ever so desperately to break it. I think if we do, we still have, really 2 more layers of heavy resistance beyond that. Of course, being the top of this ascending triangle and the bottom of this descending triangle. I do think that this is a pretty unique pattern because of the fact that if we look at this on a 1-day, all of 2018, we had a descending triangle, and it's looking like a lot of 2019, we're going to have an ascending triangle, potential ascending triangle. And this is really cool to me because we're doing inverse, and of course, I think this a lot leads to a reversal in the price action of Bitcoin. Now, again, I know a lot of very well-esteemed people who say we're going to around somewhere in the 2Ks. It's possible, and I'm not saying it's not. All I'm saying is that Bitcoin is certainly looking stronger now than it has before, and looking at larger scale time frames. Again, Bitcoin really doesn't look that weak. If it bottoms out anywhere around, anywhere in this region over here, like I'm perfectly comfortable with that. And that's why I think, with us breaking into that region of 3,100, I could see us bottoming out in this region. Now, again, I'm not saying it can't go lower. I'm not saying it can't drop in price. I'm not saying that we can't break this and, head down further. But all I'm saying is that I believe that the worst of this bear market is over and that we have entered this transitional period where we're going to gradually, slowly, and I want to emphasize that, switch into a bull market. It's not going to be something that happens in a month. It's not going to happen in a week. It's going to take months, months upon months of time to really get this transitional period over. I think it's going to be boring. You're not going to have any crazy new highs be set, but it's going to be a boring period where we get all of this junk settled out in here, and then we'll see. Now, again, this is one of the most bullish case scenarios that we've had for Bitcoin thus far because of the fact that we broke a previous we had a higher high for the first time in 14 months of Bitcoin, right? In over a year, we had our first high, I think it was 15 months actually. Wow. So for the first time since December of 2017, we actually had a higher high over here. And what we did was, contest and break this area and nearly break this one as well, which is the best attempt that we've had this far. Again, showing the same point in reasoning that you are having the bears just being gradually weaker the lower we go down, because bears are they are considerably less comfortable shorting at this range than they were shorting at this range. The lower this gets, the more uncomfortable they're going to be to short, and that's what really causes the market reversals, because eventually this is going to get so low where so many people want to buy, and the bears are going to be so uncomfortable shorting at such a low price that they're not going to want to do it anymore, and then they're going to probably get burnt out and hurt in shorts because of the buyers coming in and pretty much just wrecking them, and that's what really causes all this to happen. Again, hopefully that makes sense, but if if it doesn't, feel free to ask questions. So when I'm looking at the zone over here, bounce off the 200 EMA is very strong, very good. Again, this whole wick's throwing me off. I think it's kind of funky. In a bearish case scenario over here, the thing that I see us doing and happening is, maybe you do come down and touch support and then head over here, get rejected by trendline, then come back out and break out towards the upside. You'd probably stop around this area, hit resistance, and then of course you'd hit resistance up top as well. So in a short term, I think it could maybe look like something like this. You hit your 50 EMA, you come back down, you hit your 200 EMA, maybe you come back up a little bit and hit resistance, you come back down, you hit resistance again, Maybe you come back down again, you break out, you hit previous resistance that we just hit now. Maybe you can come back down and then you can break through it, and then maybe you get back up towards the top of this ascending triangle and we see what happens there. Again, maybe you touch this 1 or 2 more times in between then, but we'll have to wait and see, because there's a lot of there's a lot of crap that could happen, and it's hard predicting something that accurate for that far into the future. But looking at this chart over here, especially on indicators and oscillators, I think that we're very clearly setting ourselves up for triple bearish divergence, which is a little bit scary, but nothing too serious over here. So over here, I'm noticing that the oscillators are showing lower levels of bullish divergence, essentially just showing lower highs. Same thing on your MACD as well. On your RSI, this happened as well. If you guys watched today's video, I highlighted that every time that you have a lower swing high on your RSI, you go into oversold territory. It's happened, again, we'll go through all these examples. So so this is a lower swing high. So what we did is we set a high, came back down, and we swung back up to a high again. It was a lower swing high, essentially leading to a lower high. And every time this happens, at least for as far as I went back, we always go into the oversold zone. So over here, again, lower swing high, oversold. Lower swing high, oversold. Lower swing high over here, oversold. Lower swing high over here, oversold. Like lower swing high here, oversold. Lower swing high here, oversold. And this is over lower swing high upon being overbought. So over here is, I guess, the best example that we have, right? Lower swing high, right here and here. And then over and down here, we actually don't go oversold, and we rally back up towards the upside. But upon, this is the catch, upon, oh, rip. Where were we at? Here we are. No, wait, is this it? Where were we? Dang it. Did I just lose it? Does anybody remember the date on that? Dang, that was such a good example. Ah, here it is. So, upon over here having double bearish divergence upon a swing high, what we were able to do is actually rally back up to the overbought territory. But the thing that's significant here is that this was still a lower high, right? It was still a lower high. You can, very clearly see and show that this is another lower high upon a swing. So another swing high that's a lower high, saying that this is even all the more bearish. So now you have pretty much saying triple bearish divergence, and then this really came into the oversold territory, right? Because you were coming from overbought. And pretty much every time this happens, again, over here, lower swing high, oversold. Every time this happens, lower swing high, oversold. So when I'm looking at this over here, all I'm saying is that we're potentially setting ourselves up for another leg down. And this is just using things like the RSI. Now, the RSI stands for the Relative Strength Index. And doing just like a little bit of historical analysis over here. And for me, I didn't have to do this because, again, I did this analysis for every time this happened. For those of you guys who know me, my favorite shorting opportunities are when the RSI shows that this is a lower swing high. 9 times out of 10, I place a fat short on it. And usually what happens, or especially when the RSI is saying, all right, you have a lower swing high on your RSI that's in the overbought section, and the MACD is also showing double bearish divergence, 9 times out of 10, I place a fat short, right? Because usually these are in the situations where I can set a very tight stop loss for one, but two, if the MACD indicators right here and your oscillators up here and your RSI over here are all showing double bearish divergence, and this is in an overbought territory, I feel pretty safe shorting, right? My stochastics and stuff was rounding down as well, and this is like the thought process that goes through my head when I am entering these trades, right? I'm saying, is this a good area of value? Can I have a tight stop loss in this area, right? If this goes south, where can my stop loss be set? Up here, it was like a $2 stop loss or something, right? Oh, it was on Ethereum. So I shorted Ethereum here. but it was like a $2 stop loss because let's just go to Ethereum. We're having teacher episode today. So over here on Ethereum, the thing I shorted 166, I think. Or no, it was 160. What was it? It was 135. It was 165.35 on BitMax. So 165.35. So I shorted almost the exact top. Well, we can go look at that on BitMax, I guess, because that will be much more clear. So so 166.59 was the top. I shorted 165, I think, 35. So just down here a little bit lower. And so what this allowed me to do is so I guess you guys have the perspective here. What this allowed me to do is essentially, that's the wrong chart. What this allowed me to do is to set my stop loss like half a dollar, maybe 50 cents at $1 max, right above this resistance points, right? Horizontal resistance and slanting resistance. All I had to do is set my stop loss right up here. So I'm saying, all right, worst case scenario here, I lose like whatever the range of 50 cents or $1 is on 10x leverage. Worst case scenario, I lose that. Good case scenario, this thing dumps to probably either the 618 or the 200 EMA or the 50 EMA. That's pretty good risk versus reward for me, and I said I'd take it, along with all the other indicators and oscillators telling me that this. So basically, all of these things were telling me I was bearish, right? I've already explained that. All of these things were telling me I was bearish, and we were at two levels of heavy resistance, right? Horizontal resistance, same thing I was talking about earlier on Bitcoin. Previous lows, swing lows, that are now were support, now resistance. And then you also have slanting up resistance as well. So you had double layers of resistance along with all my indicators telling me that this is bearish. So I was looking at this and going, all right, well, if the candle chart's telling me this is bearish, it's at the top of resistance, I can set a super tight stop loss, and everything over here is just telling me to short and that this is going to fall. That's why I entered into a very hefty trade. And I'm okay with taking those positions again. I'm okay with entering hefty trades up here because of the fact that my risk management is so tight and everything is saying that it's so bearish. And a lot of people said that we were going to break this zone, but, at the end of the day, we didn't. And so if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. And that's like one of my things. And so when I look at this, this is what I believe. Now, that is more instructional and more educational than anything else, because that is my concept, my how I go through trades. That is what went through my head when I was getting into a trade as large as I did in here. So hopefully that helps, because a lot of people, they don't know like the proper process of how to go through and actually do trades. And I know I didn't when I was first getting into this. And so when, hopefully that is able to help you guys in some way and get you guys through some sort of psychological process. Again, you should go through a process when you're trading. It shouldn't just be jumping on and going, okay, well, this looks like a good area. Let's just throw a bet in. Or maybe you just pop in, you look at your MACD and you said, okay, let's short. Right? I have a whole thought process that I'm going through. It's putting the candle charts with, sloping resistance, with horizontal resistance, with my indicators, with my oscillators, with my RSI. And it's all these things. Am I near resistance? What's my risk management in this area? So these are all the crazy things that go through my head. Maybe you have to have like a certain mindset or thought process to be able to do this, but you can easily adapt your brain to get into this process. So that you start picking these things up and start going through this. Again, I was never like this. I had to teach myself this. And, it works now. But it's going to be different. Everyone trades differently, too. This is just what I do. I find this the most effective for me. That was my problem. That was my problem last night, 2 a.m. And my SL would have been 14. So it would have been 14%, and it was moving there nicely. Your stop loss. So I bailed out because I crashed. I need to be up during a trade. My rule. Yeah. I'll talk about my rule in a sec. Of course, I missed out on a nice short. Cheers, Brendan. Yeah. Randy, I'll come back to your question in just one sec. Crypto Kiwi said, cheers, Brendan, for your education, forever learning, eh? Yeah, and that's the thing about this is technical analysis is a forever learning process. No one becomes perfect at it. I've developed patterns that help me be statistically successful, but I don't win every trade. People who know I made that dry season video because I don't win every trade, and I know what it's like to lose constant trades and get stopped out, and it sucks. But like, it's this forever learning process that you can. I have mentors that I talk to almost on a daily basis who are way better than me at technical analysis. Like people who make thousands and thousands of dollars a day without nearly any effort put in. Like people who make thousands and thousands of dollars in an hour, and that's no effort put in. Like the people who trade for an entire day and make like what you make in a year, pretty much. Like it's just crazy, or what you make in like half a year. It's just, crazy stuff to me. So these are like the people that I learn from, and I'm sure they have people that they learn from too. Dag, welcome. He said Ethereum fork crash incoming in 24 hours. Well, it would not surprise me if it did. Why? Potential triple bearish divergence. And this will eventually, probably I think very soon, head into the oversold territory. And over here, you're now getting rejected from the bottom of your former support. So I'm looking at this range saying, all right, well, you got rejected from your 50 EMA once, twice, now 3 times. You have broken down, you came back up, but upon coming back up, you were able to wick through. You got rejected from your 786, but you also are now getting rejected. Your candle body closing looks like it's going to be below this area. Now, this is significant because of the fact that you are below support at this range. So if you close here, you're going to be closing below support, and now that support's going to become resistance. So this could be like the hook, and then the go could be towards the downside. So this could be your break, your hook below, and then it could, crash back down here. So it's hard to know, really. I think that I definitely am more bearish than I am bullish in this range. Maybe I will place a short like tomorrow morning or something, or maybe even tonight. But it's hard to say. Your volume is pretty decent right now, right? It's better than it was before this crashed. When this was fading off, that was another thing. I was looking at volume fade off again. When volume fades off, something's gonna pop off. That's my rule of thumb. So with the Ethereum fork update, whatever you want to call it, being done tomorrow, right? Yeah, so tomorrow, one can look at this and imagine either, sometime tomorrow or the weekend, tomorrow or Friday, something's probably going to happen in the price action of Ethereum that's pretty, pretty crazy one way or another, most likely to the downside. I need to get some water. So what's happening? So I guess the real question is now that we've gone over like all the educational stuff, where do I see, I guess we can go over the daily, but like where do I see this going from here, right? What are my predictions? What does this look like? Yeah, just bearish across the board. So this all looks bearish, but the thing that people always misinterpret this when I say it. When I say that I'm bearish on a situation, it doesn't mean like I'm perma-bear, right? A lot of this is just all short-term bearish. Like I think that we might have one more good leg down, and then I think we're actually going to be really bullish. What do we see over here? Yeah, same thing. Bearish, bearish, bearish. Yeah, so when I'm looking at this, let me look at this on the 4-hour. When I'm looking at this, what I really see happening is, again, short-term bearish movement. Probably, again, hitting the 50 EM. Oh, you're actually about to have a golden cross on your 1 day. I did not see that. Oh, no, wait, no, you're not. Huh. Wait, yeah, no, never mind. I don't know what I was looking at there. I was looking down here and going, oh my god, we're about to have a golden cross. Maybe I'm wrong. No, but over here on your 4-hour, again, I'm looking at touching this 200 EMA again, and then maybe this bottom area of support over here. So these are really what I'm looking for, my targets wise. And, you know, maybe it'll see. I don't have any crazy divergence to say that this is going to be a trade or not, but this is just like, again, my thought process. So if I do enter a trade or I'm thinking about it, excuse me, if I do, everything will be kept posted. So over here on the way up, I want to talk about this one more thing, and then we'll get into actual predictions. On the way up over here, I was talking to someone about this the other day. I think it was Sean, Mr. Soy Sauce himself. When I was looking at this, we were talking about whether or not this could be one or two or three legs up. And personally, I believe this to be 3 legs up, because I think you have your first leg very clearly on the 4-hour, which is pretty much undisputed. Your second leg and your third leg is where there was a little bit of confusion. For me, personally, this was a consolidation range over in here. That was enough for me to satisfy my expectations as a consolidation range. And so I see this is the second leg, this is the third leg. If you guys know anything about pumps, they usually have pumps and dumps. They usually have 3 legs down, 3 legs up. If we want to see another great example of that, over here, leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. You can see it very clearly, right? Leg 1, consolidate, leg 2, consolidation range, leg 3, end. So that's how little tips and tricks that help out a lot. So maybe over here, same thing, right? Leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, leg 1, maybe leg 2. I don't know with this wick. And then hopefully a leg 3, and then this thing bounces and breaks out of an ascending triangle. So we hope for the best. Anyway, where am I expecting this to go? Oh, well, I kind of went over this, but if you guys are a part of the Patreon, I post, if I enter and exit trades in there, I can't talk. I post whether or not I enter or exit trades in the Patreon. I post my targets, stuff like that. It's really cool. If you guys want to learn more about it, there's a link in the description down below. It's really cool. I also talk a lot and answer a lot of people's questions in Discord. Discord is completely free. There's a link to that in the description down below as well. But moving into this, I really do, I'm going to be updating this in Patreon, but as for right now, my targets are, and I do this because I don't get to do live streams a lot, and when I do, I like to keep them pretty informative. But my targets right now are still the same, 618 and 200 EMA, and support down here. So neon blue support, and the 618 fib retracement, and the 200 EMA. So those are really my targets towards the downside. If this wants to break back up, of course it's going to be the silver fib, the 382, and it's also going to be, of course, popular fib retracements 382, 236, and resistance above here. And of course the 50 EMA, because we're actually getting rejected from that pretty constantly. Poker Throat said, "Good evening, crazy afternoon." Yeah, I agree. It's been crazy. Crazy, especially with these wicks, am I right? Vivian, first of all, welcome, Vivian. Welcome, Vivian, great to have you. Can you comment on which exchange is a better platform to day trade on, fee-wise? Yeah, so personally, my favorite one, I would say that my favorites are BitMEX, then I've heard Deribit's pretty good. I've never used Deribit. I've heard it's a lot better than BitMEX. But I use BitMEX. I love BitMEX. I think it works well. Problems with BitMEX are slippage, and you can't live in the United States or Canada or like Iran or a couple other countries. If you live in those countries, you can't use BitMEX. You can get a VPN and you can bypass it. Just be careful because it's against their terms of service, but a lot of people do it anyway. I can't tell you to do it. I can't tell you not to do it. It's up to you at the end of the day. Can't tell you how to handle your money. But personally, my favorite one to use is BitMEX. I've used it before, and it's personally my favorite. I think it's very easy to learn, and although the slippage and stuff is pretty frustrating, I feel like if you're confident, if you are a confident day trader, then you can make a good amount of money on BitMEX, right? So it's risky though, because you can lose money just as fast as you can make it. Handy Rams, welcome. He says, when's the Lambo? I don't know. With these kind of moves, you know, Lambos could be soon. I mean, leverage trading, this stuff is just money makers or liquidation makers. One of the two, depending on which side of the stick you're on. How's BTC looking on the weekly? That's a great question. I'd be more than happy to answer that. On the weekly, we are getting rejected from our 382 fib retracement over here. Very, very clearly, you see the wick up, you know, rejection. And this is where it's unique because now we have, this is actually so cool. I can't zoom in anymore. So you have your wick going up, getting rejected from the 382. You have your wick coming down, showing support on the 618. And so now you're just literally wicking in between this zone on your weekly. Again, showing just another reason why you need to know how to do fib retracements because they are so important. And here you're literally just wicking in this range. Indicators and oscillators. Over here on the weekly, we are looking very bullish. Now, why are we looking so bullish on the weekly? And I'll get the comments in just 1 second. Justin, welcome. Dark and Groovy, welcome. Jalen, welcome. I'll answer you guys' questions in just 1 second. Let me explain this. So why is the weekly so bullish? The weekly is so bullish because you're seeing lower levels of negative momentum consistently upon swing lows. So what I mean over here is you have your swing low. You know, here we swung back up again, and it was lower than this area, right? And then over here, we're actually getting to the highest point in bullish momentum on our weekly MACD that we've been since the entirety of this bear market 15 months ago. So for the first time, and we'll show this on the monthly as well, but we'll actually have our indicators and our oscillators both pointing upwards for the short term over here. Your RSI came oversold, bounced off your oversold 30. Remember the 30%, the 30 mark on the RSI is a significant level. We're bouncing off of it and we're pointing back towards the upside. And arguably this is a very significant thing. So for all of this being overbought, for us coming back down here and pointing up, this is pretty significant. So technically this is bullish as well. Over here, this is... So this is actually not that bad. Because what we're able to do is come out. Now what we really need to do happen on our stochastics is have a higher swing low. And essentially this is technically one, but this isn't a swing. This is just a higher low. What we need is for this thing to like go up and do whatever and then come back down here and have like an actual higher swing low. So then we can say, all right, upon swing low, it was weaker than previously before, showing that the bears are running out of strength, and that this is most likely to take a turn towards the upside. And that's the weekly. Something I want to highlight on the monthly is the MACD. And for the first time in 15 months, your MACD is pointing upwards. Your MACD, you're essentially having a higher MACD candle than previously. For the last 15 months, for the last 15 candles, you have had a lower MACD candle than previously. And for the first time in 15 months, right over here, you can see very clearly that this is a higher MACD candle, essentially pointing upwards for the first time in 15 months. You need to have these oscillators start rounding off, but that is huge. So don't take that lightly. Not to say, again, not to say bull market now, not to say we moon now, nothing like that, but just to say, again, it's a gradual process. And when we're looking at this, that's not a bearish sign. It's not a bearish sign. It's more bullish than it is bearish. We're not going to moon because of it yet. But it's this gradual process that you're going to see start happening in cryptocurrency. It's not going to be this month. It's not going to be next month probably. You know, again, it's going to be this long transitional period. But we're able to start seeing the beginning of it. It's like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You're nowhere near being out as soon as you see the light. But you see the light, so you know, again, it's there. And it's a process, and it takes a little while to get there. Back through the questions. Henry Ram says weekly's looking sideways. Well, I don't think the weekly looked that sideways to me. Yeah, no, I mean, weekly doesn't look sideways. I mean, we're going up. We're wicking everywhere. That's what we're doing. Justin said, hey bud, long time no see. I'm always busy when you stream. Can't stay long now. Also look forward to watching the playback later. Yo, Justin, for all of you guys that are watching now, 100% recommend watching the beginning playback of this. I go into teaching a ton of technical analysis. For those of you guys who did not watch the beginning, go back, watch like the first half of this thing, the first, like, I don't know what it was, 25 minutes or so. I literally teach my entire thought process of trading and technical analysis right there. It's probably the most useful content, some of the most useful content that I have made this far. So if you get a chance and you really care about trading, I would, for educational purposes, watch back like the first half of this stream. Super, super crucial. I mean, important. I think it's like some of the best content that I've ever done on live stream. Randy says, Canada okay? Okay, so just Quebec in Canada is not prohibited. Dark and Groovy says, I'm in Canada, BitMEX works great. So yeah, my bad. I didn't know. So it's only Quebec that it's banned in. They check the IP address. Yeah, so you can get a VPN. Not saying I've tried it, not saying I do it, but you know, you can get a VPN and say that you're from like Europe or something, and it will let you use BitMEX. So I've heard. Jillian says, are you using TradingView? I am using TradingView. I use TradingView for all of my charting. I think it's great, and I really like it. I think it's one of the best platforms out there for traders, if not the best platform. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was. That'd be cool. But yeah, no, I use TradingView for like all of my charting, and then I trade on obviously other exchanges. One Man Army, welcome. Great to have you in here. One Man Army. Still looking at 4100 level. I'm hesitant to do anything, but still short at this point. Oh yeah, hi Brent. Yo, what's up, One Man Army? Great to have you. We'll definitely do. Cheers, mate. Yeah, for sure. Will do. It's gotta confirm and hodl, and it's gotta confirm and hold. Yeah. I mean, the bulls are showing a lot of strength, but this is still a bearish situation. I logged on. Oh no. I logged on and registered on BitMEX using a VPN with the Chicago address. Oh man, that's brutal. One time before I logged on, I had a good amount of money on the account. They gave me 7 days to move it, but I had used BitMEX and I logged on with my VPN subscription ran out, and I logged on. I logged on and I even got a warning. It's like, don't log in. You're in a restricted region. For whatever reason, I logged in anyway. And immediately they banned my account. They're like, move your funds within 7 days or else we're seizing all of your stuff. And I was like, yikes. At least they gave me 7 days, though. They're pretty nice about banning people now. So yeah, I can relate. So, targets for Bitcoin at the current moment. 200 EMA, 618, and this entire support line that we have over in this region. I get the support line just from previous lows over in here. Targets to the upside are the 382, the 236, major overbearing resistance that we have from the entirety of the past year or so. And, of course, the top of this giant ascending triangle. So, more specifically, I think, you know, I might just round up the live stream here. Does anyone have questions, I guess, before I round this up? Oh, yeah, you guys do have questions. Here we go. Yeah, they don't let you trade. Yeah, they'll let you make an account, but you can't trade anything. When you wager on futures, are you able to set the times? I don't do futures yet. I'm looking into futures for, like, index funds and all, but I don't trade futures on, like, cryptos at all. Only thing I do is leverage trade. Like 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, so forth. You were just a jughead. That's a lot of high quality H2O. Yeah, I got a whole container here with me. I gotta stay hydrated. I'm really working on improving my health to the maximum capacity, I guess. I don't know, eating healthy, working out, drinking lots of water. it's pretty much all I drink now is like water with like a glass of orange juice in the morning. So stay healthy. Cheers. Jalen, you should try the BitMEX mirror side practice. It's identical to the real site. Yeah, the testnet for BitMEX. Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that in. The testnet for BitMEX essentially allows you to, what's it called? You can use BitMEX as if it's the real. It's using, I think, fake money, but it's the same as the real site. So if you're in a banned place, you can use the testnet. You can train yourself, act like you're actually trading. It's pretty cool. It's literally, you know, what it's called, a testnet. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff. So, I don't know what else there is to talk. Oh, XRP. That's what the last thing I wanted to go over. Yikes. Dang. Dumped. That is so volatile, dude. Jeez. At least it held support. Maybe. Barely. Yeah, there we go. I mean, that thing barely held support. It had a piercing candle right through it. Why is this here? Might be flagging. And get rid of this guy as well. So XRP over here, this is XRP to the USD, still holding its support line for the most part. So it needs to come down just a tad. So still holding its support line. You had a piercing candle through it over here. I mean, it's just so volatile. So yeah, I think that this thing's just going to continue to bounce around a little bit. It's got to settle itself out. The Coinbase news is so far awaited. You did have a golden cross on your 4-hour. As soon as this happened. It could very easily, though, revert. Especially with how volatile this is being right now. I mean, this is jumping. What is this? It's jumping like 5 or 6 cents in like 2-hour periods. That's a ton. And then it's going straight back up the same distance almost in like 4 to 8 hour periods. So I'm obviously, you know, maybe I would trade this if it was anywhere along support or resistance, but in this medium range that it's at right now, there's no reason for me to be trading this thing. I mean, that's triple bearish divergence pretty clearly. But yeah, I mean, that's as clear as it gets, right? Triple bearish divergence. When was this? February. As soon as I would have seen this, February 26th at 12. February 26th at 12. So right in this range when it was saying triple bearish divergence, I, you know, probably would have entered a short if I was looking at this, but I, you know, I wasn't. Same thing on your RSI. Rejection, that's a big thing. Rejection from your 70 point, right? The 70 is a heavy area of resistance / support. Same thing with your 30 on your RSI. Yeah. So. XRP to BTC. Can we look at that? Yeah, I mean, this thing's just falling back down, dude. Rejection from your 50 EMA. Maybe look for some sort of a bounce soon. Only thing that I don't like is that rejection candle. It's a very clear rejection candle. And it's going to close in a half an hour. So the odds are it closes as a rejection candle. XRP, if I could... Does BitMEX do XRP to USD for trading? Or is it... I don't know. It might be the BTC. Tomorrow's supposed to be the ETF action. How is XRP looking for me? It's a no trade zone for me. If I had to trade it to the USD, it's absolutely a no trade zone. If it touches anywhere along support or resistance, I would trade it. But with how volatile it's being, there's no reason for me to enter a trade anywhere that's in here. Now, if it's up here or down here, I'd be down. But it's like right in the smack middle. And with this being so volatile, it's like instant liquidation if it goes the wrong way. Like these candles are just so scary to me. They're keeping the price down while they load up on Coinbase Pro before they load it on the Coinbase Actual. Triangle after triangle after triangle kills your measured move as well. Yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, this is bleh. It's not what I want to see as a trader. Ethereum's been by far my favorite thing. Oh, this thing is pushing through. Ethereum's by far been my favorite thing to trade lately. It's been leading the market. It's been... Bitcoin was making some moves tonight, but Ethereum as of recently has just been phenomenal to trade. Leverage trading can earn massive gains. Oh, leverage trading can earn, question mark. Is 1 to 1,000 leverage impossible to do? Is 1 to 1,000... Jalen, do you mean $1 to $1,000, or do you mean 1,000x leverage trade? So you can only leverage trade up to 100x on BitMEX. I've heard of places doing 200x, but that's incredibly too high. I never trade. Yo, Torch Nail, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome. Yeah, so the deal with this is you can't 1,000x. To put it simply, when you do a 100x leverage trade, you get liquidated in $15, I think. Last time I checked, it was like $15 to $20. I think sometimes. So here's the deal: when it was low, it was like an $8 liquidation, and now I think because the price is a little higher, it's somewhere around like 10 to 15. Soy might know, or Otter might know if they're in here, because I think they use 100x more than I do. But I hear noise. But yeah, so with the 100x is already so high that if it moves a couple dollars, you get liquidated. So with 1,000x, it would be like if Bitcoin moved like a matter of cents, you get liquidated. And so that's why 1,000x isn't possible. And I personally, I never go over 25x. And I rarely do 25x. Almost every single trade I do is almost always at 10x leverage. I think it's the safest while still making a lot of profits. It's the most manageable. For me, doing like Ethereum on 25x, I think if Ethereum moves $1.50, I get liquidated. And that, even for me, is too tight. Because that makes even my stop loss, if it's only a 50% stop, if Ethereum moves 50 cents, and my stop loss is 50 cents away, that's still a third of what I'm trading. So my stop loss, even though it's only at 50 cents below my target or 50% or 50 cents above my target, if it hits my stop loss, I still lose 30 or a third of what I'm trading. So even for me, like 25x leverage is just a lot. I think it's $1.50. Maybe it's more than that actually. Okay, so at 25x, how much oh, yo, Edward, great to have you in here. Welcome, man. I'm doing absolutely amazing. It's been a great week for trading, Edward. Great freaking week. Okay, so so at 25x, how much can you put in? You can put in like as much as you want. I know there's a guy in the Discord who traded 1 million contracts before. And I don't know what his leverage was, but that's a lot of money. That's more than, probably anyone in here. I don't know you guys, but that's probably more than anyone in here would be trading normally on a leverage system. So, for me, I put hundreds, sometimes, 1,000 more. You can put any amount of money that you want at any leverage. But for me, I generally stick to 10x or 25x. I'll 25x Bitcoin, but I won't 25x Ethereum. Ethereum can just be a little bit too volatile for me. I love how I get a notification for my own live stream. So yeah, no problem, Jalen. If you have any more questions, shoot me a message on Discord or anything. But besides that, what's our plan? I have to make a... If you're a tier 2 Patreon, I have to make your video. I think, Jalen, were you the one who posted it last time? I'm making your video tomorrow. I was getting the material ready for it. I think it was you. I was getting the material ready for it. Anyway, we have the tier 2 Patreon video coming out tomorrow about parabolic moves. And then we're also probably going to have another Bitcoin analysis. So I'm going to try to get 2 videos out tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to happen. I have a ton to do, but I definitely want to get the parabolic move video out tomorrow. Test note what makes sense. We'll take you through all of that. It's really very good and identical. Yeah, I agree. I think it was... I mean, are you... Let me check. Oh, no. Never mind. It wasn't you. I don't think it was you. I don't think he's in here today. He's usually in the live stream. But he's not tonight. Anyway, that is... Oh, you know what I can do? That's pretty much going to round this out. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to be able to answer those. But in the meantime, I'm going to plug my Patreon because that's what I do at the end of every live stream. So if you guys want to support the channel and maybe get a little bit more crypto knowledge out here, we have 2 deals. Our early adopter is actually sold out now. So we have a Patreon tier 2. It's $2 a month. Every 2 weeks, you guys create topics, video topics for me. You guys vote on them, whichever one that you guys create, and then vote on whichever one has the most votes. I actually have to make a video on it. Now, considering it's appropriate or relevant or whatever, I have to make the video on it. It's $2 a month. It's kind of a cool way for you guys to fun and interact as a community and interact with me as a creator, and get to have your voice spoken through videos. And then of course we have the actual really more serious one, which is the tier 1 supporter. It's $40 a month. Essentially you guys get Bitcoin updates from me, where I believe Bitcoin's going and why. I teach technical analysis in there, concepts and examples, such as the recent one that I did was just explaining through bear flags, teaching it, giving you examples, how it happens, why it happens, what to expect, how to see them, things along that line. The other big part of this is critiquing your cryptocurrency charts and giving constructive feedback. I think that's a big one about just teaching, and really what that allows me to do is be your mentor, so to say, and to be able to walk through questions that you might have, which is another thing down here. Walk through questions that you might have. Go through charts with you, critique them, help improve them. Go through this kind of trial and error method where you guys are actually able to have a mentor and improve your technical analysis. Again, I can't give you financial advice, but what I can do is help a lot with this educational side and say, this is, how to learn. Other part is my complete insight on current and future market movements. And then the last one is, I give trade updates. So whenever I enter a trade, I let you guys know what trade I'm entering and why. Whenever I exit a trade, I let you guys know, why I'm exiting and, why I'm entering and why I'm exiting. So, not to say that you guys should copy me, but again, for educational purposes. So, I keep that very up to date too. So, right after I enter a trade, I try to post it. And then I give updates on those and all that stuff. So, it's pretty cool. It's really something that I've been experimenting with lately. And I think the results of all of it have come back really good so far. So, I have done a little bit of adjusting recently, but it has, I think, turned out much more towards the upside. So it's been really cool. So I don't know, I think it's been a really cool experience. It's basically like having me like live stream, I guess. It's like a live stream, but like every day. But like I don't live stream. I just give all the. I basically give all the information I would on a live stream through an update every day, or like every day, 2 days, something like that. Whenever there's new relevant information. Yeah. If you were to add fundamental analysis like how you do TA, you would be awesome. If you add fundamental analysis like how you do TA. Jalen, were you here when I was explaining my trading process at the beginning? Not like you aren't now. Brendan, when you gonna add super chat? Okay, so so here's the deal with super chat. Sounds like a great deal. I'll definitely get all my crypto ducks in a row very soon. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool deal because it helps me. So here's the sucky part. My thoughts are all over the place. The sucky part about this is that I have a ton of fees I have to pay for. I have to pay for my editing software. I have to pay for my TradingView software. I have to pay for a VPN. I have a lot of costs that go into YouTube, right? I use all sorts of editing and programming stuff. So like this, one of my costs is $50 a month. I think this is like $30 or $40 a month. My editing software is like another $40 a month. And so like I have like all these little costs that like add up progressively more and more and more. And so then not only am I paying like hundreds of dollars a month just to do YouTube, I'm also taking hours out of my time, to do YouTube on top of the paying. So it's like, financially and time investment. That's the real reason why I created the Patreon. It's basically because of the fact of, it was getting too expensive. I'm a full-time college student as well as doing YouTube and all this. So paying over $100 a month to this was becoming a little bit of a financial burden. So I kind of had to start a Patreon. And, maybe it'll turn into a full-time job or something. That'd be awesome. But until then, I need to be able to pay for the expenses. Because Google AdSense is like, zero. Anyway, super sidetracked. Moving over here, Jalen says, I'll watch the replay. What was I gonna say? Oh, super chat. Yeah, so I don't do super chat because I think YouTube takes 40% of whatever you donate. So if you donate me $10, I only get $6. So they keep like almost 50% of what you donate, and that's like crazy to me. And I think it's a little bit too much. So what I have instead, everyone always asks that. So what I have instead is I think I have a link in the description down below that's titled Donate. And if you donate through that link, it'll still go to me, but it just won't be through YouTube. So I get to keep like 95% of what you donate instead of only getting to keep 60% of what you donate. So I use Streamlabs for donations. I should really make that more clear because I've had a lot of people ask about that. I will donate Bitcoin. I mean, I'm always down for more Bitcoin. I've gotten one donation in. No, I haven't. I've gotten 2 donations. I had 1 Bitcoin donation and 1 USD donation. And it was cool, but they're never expected, right? I do this because I love it. I can see how there's a lot of work involved in putting on the streams, etc. Yeah, it's just like a lot of time and a lot of, and I never thought at first it was just a time investment, but like the more I got into it, the more I was like, all right, I need an actual editing software. I can't just like throw up crap like I used to. Or at least I don't want to. And then like I have to buy TradingView, and then I have to buy, it's just like expenses. It's just so stupid. It's not even like I'm doing anything that crazy. Just everything in this world costs money now. Small portion anyways. I get what you mean there. Yeah, I appreciate it. Oh wow, that's good to know. I need to pump up my PayPal. Oh yeah, I see. Oh yeah, I see BTC address. There you go. Do I don't even think I have a BTC address in here. Oh, I do. That's so funny. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. That's much appreciated. I did not know that YouTube takes 40% off Super Chat. What happens when you donate cryptos? When you donate cryptos, I get all of it. That's the great thing. Like, I can load up my Binance account right now. In fact, I'll do it. I'll load up my Binance account. Need to put this over here so you guys can't see my crap. Yeah, so if you donate through the donate link or you donate cryptos, if you go through the donate link, I know it like pops up on screen like this. Funds. What was this? Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. I think that 4.1. Cool. Sorry, I was trying to get that figured out. Basically, if you donate through the actual the link in the description that says donate, it comes up with a link, and if you donate through that, you get, it like flashes something on screen when you donate. And if you just do it through BTC, it doesn't do anything special. It still gives it all to me, but it doesn't like flash up on the screen. I don't know how to link a Bitcoin wallet to that. It does something a little bit like this though. Cannot figure it out. My donation settings. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's so weird. Okay, so they changed this up on me. Anyway, you guys get the picture. It's not important. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to shoot those my way, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. So if you guys did enjoy, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. We got like a total of good old 15 likes on the live stream. So if you guys could hit that like button, helps out a lot, helps it get out the video to more people, and spread the love of the channel. So I appreciate all of you guys for being in here. We had a really good live stream tonight. And again, if you guys didn't watch the beginning half, please watch it. Super good, educational, informative information that will help bring you through my mindset of trading. You know, my thought process. So, besides that, we've been going for around an hour here. We had like the last 10 minutes of me just absolutely random crap and, you know, plugging Patreon. So I'm sorry about that. No one likes to be that guy, but, you know, some of us have to. But besides that, guys, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys did enjoy, do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video.